unfortunately, the turnover is really what changed everything. In Indiana's case, think about what they did. It was an Andrew Nembhard layup that gave the Pacers their first lead of overtime. A Tyrese Haliburton layup that gave them the lead. Haliburton then missed a three, and Obi Toppin dunked it in on the miss.
Right, because nobody blocked him out.
And then you had Haliburton to Nembhard that gave him the lead that pretty much finished it, and then an Obi Toppin dunk. So it was coming at you. We didn't see Nesmith, who was so good at the close of the fourth quarter. And Miles Turner was barely out there.
Right.
In the Knicks case, it's almost predictable. You know where it's going. In the Pacers case, you don't know.
Yeah. Well, you wonder why they move around so much. It's probably because they just have trust in all those guys. And it's weird because it almost feels like they don't have anything to lose, this Indiana Pacers team. That's how they play. And it's why when they get down, it doesn't feel like, oh, what was me? We'll get to the next game, next whatever. They fight through it because they don't have anything to lose.
You know what's funny about you saying that? And you're right, that's the way it appears that they play.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my analysis hat on.
Okay,
because
of the Pacers.
Of the Pacers. Because a few days ago, I said this about the Knicks. I said, look, if you just look at the history of championship windows and the ages of the stars, Knicks got to win now.
Yeah.
Well, when I look at the Indiana Pacers and the way things have been paid for them too, they better win now. Are we convinced the Pacers, they'll be a good team for a while, just like the Knicks will be a good team for a while. Are they going to have as good of an opportunity to win an NBA championship as they have right now? The answer is probably not.
No, I would think not, especially, because Cleveland's going to keep getting better, obviously. Boston, who knows what Boston's going to do.
But you also don't know about anyone else.
Exactly.
Or injuries.
The teams that come from nowhere.
Or even the injuries that affect you.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're going to be the one that's victimed to the brutal injury. So you're right. It appears like they're playing very carefree, and maybe those in the national media think they have nothing to lose. I think the Knicks and the Pacers are in a very similar boat. You got to take advantage of this moment. This moment presents itself where you could be sitting in the NBA Finals.
Of course,
do it,
and that's obvious. But I'm just saying they play with a ease and a comfort that allows them to not feel, hamstrung or pressured in moments. You know what I mean? I feel like the Knicks sometimes they get tight.
You know what I think it is? The word I would use to describe it is chemistry. These guys have played a lot of basketball together.
Yeah.
And one of the advantages the Pacers have in this series over the Knicks is that chemistry.
Right.
This is still a new team. I know no one wants to hear that because it's been a whole season and we've seen, 97 games or whatever it is, but it's a much newer team compared to Indiana, who essentially had this unit going on a deep playoff run a year ago.
That's right.
Let's go to Jay in Tom's River. What's up, Jay?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
All's good.
Good.
I was actually calling just to tell everyone to just chill out. Game one, the odds of everything that happened during game one, it's not going to happen again. Nesmith putting up 6 threes, it's just not. It's I don't know. I think everyone's stressing, nothing to stress about.
You're right about the logic that Nesmith is unlikely to make 8 threes. But we could have said the exact same thing after game one Knicks Celtics, in that there's no way the Celtics are going to miss, 75% of their shots.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? They did it again. So I'm learning the lessons of the mistakes we all made, which is we said the same stuff after the Knicks came back against Boston in the other route.
Right.
Boston fans were like, well, that's not going to happen.
But when game 5, when the Knicks got run out of the building in game 5, the one thing you did say was a guy like Luke Cornett is not going to be otherworldly every game for the rest of this series. And guess what? He wasn't.
Right.
And so in game 6, he was non-factor. And so you go from being basically all-star caliber to a non-factor. That's kind of what I think he was getting at.
Okay, but the problem with that logic is this, and I'm going to use Pascal Siakam as an example. He didn't have a bad game one. He scored 17. He was 7 for 16 from the field. He didn't make a 3.
Yeah.
So it was a quiet game for Pascal Siakam. As much as you'll confidently say, well, Aaron Nesmith isn't going to make 8 threes again, Pascal Siakam could drop 30. That's why connecting one game to another with that's
hard.
Not going to happen again is
hard.
flawed logic. And the Celtic fan tried to do it to you guys after game 1. They did the same thing. And then we sat there after game 2 and said, remember when everyone assumed this wouldn't happen again? So it could happen again, but more likely, no, Nesmith isn't dropping 30, but maybe Miles Turner, who only played 31 minutes, has a bigger impact on this game. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe Miles Turner blocks 5 shots in this game.
Oh, come on.
No, come on. He's capable of it. Same thing with Siakam. Look, I could do this with the Knicks, too. It's not being pro-Pacer. It's more, let's not assume something's going to happen again.
No, I agree.
That's not going to happen again, but something else won't change.
I agree. I mean, it felt like the Knicks and the Celtics, a couple of those games felt similar, but really all of them were just different.
It's all different stories.
Yeah.
It's all different stories. Neesmith isn't dropping 30. I agree with you, but something else will likely happen that will impact this game, win or lose. Let's go to Dave on Long Island. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys, right along the same point. How are you today? Great job, by the way. Just want to say that.
Appreciate it.
Two things I have that I think give Knicks fans confidence. The first one is no other team, I don't think, went through a first-round series like the Knicks did with Detroit. Detroit, give them credit. They played harder, better defense, more aggressively, consistently for 48 minutes than any other team. So the Knicks were well prepared going into Boston that way. That's one thing.
Good point.
The second thing is the only way that Boston, to me, was competitive with the Knicks is when they were shooting lights out, right? And you saw it in all the games. When the Knicks didn't shoot well and Boston shot lights out, the Knicks didn't really have a chance. The games where they were close, when Boston didn't go on those make 7, 8, 9 threes in a row, they couldn't beat the Knicks. And I think it's the same way with the Pacers. It's not Naismith hitting 8 shots. It's Naismith hitting 6 in a row in 2 minutes. That's not going to happen again. And think about how they started off the game, right? The Pacers didn't miss a shot in the first quarter. They hit like 8 or 9 threes in the first quarter, and the Knicks were still leading. So it took miraculous shooting, and the Knicks were still there. I think everything just went wrong at the wrong time. I think we have great confidence going forward. What do you guys think?
I mean, I would, if I was a Knicks fan.
I would have great confidence going forward. I agree with the last part you said. Like, I would have confidence, but I also think you're making kind of that same mistake. Like, game 1 and everything that happened, good or bad, and connecting it to game 2 is not the right approach because there are going to be a lot of things that just play out completely differently.
Right.
Like, yes, the Pacers got off to an unreal shooting start in this game. They made their first 8 shots. And, yeah, the Knicks were only down by 4 or 5. And it was like, wow, they're still in this game. What a great sign. So I think there's a lot of elements to this that can change. And I got to tell you, I brought this up briefly yesterday, but I do want to play it for you because Charles Barkley, I know he's considered just a troll, and that's how Knicks fans view him. But he made a very interesting point at halftime. Halftime of game 1.
Oh, Ginobili?
He did say that in the middle of this thing we're about to play. So definitely
Ginobili.
Don't get distracted by him mispronouncing OG Anunoby's name.
Oh, Ginobili?
Yeah. So just, play that again so people hear it. Okay, haha, it's funny.
Oh, Ginobili?
Don't get distracted. You're going to hear the whole context.
Who is he thinking of, I wonder?
I think he was thinking of OG Anunoby. I just don't think he knows how to say his name.
No. He must have confused him with Obi. I'm trying to think.
Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, I don't know.
Obi Toppin?
Who could he have been confusing him with to mess it up that bad?
I think it's just Chuck being Chuck.
Oh, Ginobili.
But Charles Barkley took a lot of heat because at halftime of this game, in which the Knicks were up by 7, and you felt good. It wasn't a blowout by any stretch, but you felt good, especially because you withstood, as our last caller said, the Pacers' great hot shooting, and here you are up by 7. Charles Barkley made a compelling case on what he would be worried about with the New York Knicks moving forward. And I think he makes a lot of really good points. So forget that it's Charles Barkley. Forget that he can't say OG Anunoby's name.
Oh, Ginobili?
Listen to what he says, and then we'll have a nice discussion.
One thing they got to worry about, Indiana wants to play like this. And this is only game 1. And if the Knicks try to run with the Pacers, because the Pacers, you can see Ginobili, he's struggling. He is struggling trying to keep this pace up. So if the Knicks think they're going to run 7 games with the Pacers, they're going to lose this series. Like, the Pacers got to be saying, guys, they got to do a better job on the boards. But if we play 7 games at this pace, we want to play like this. The Knicks, they have enough confidence in their bench to play 7 games like this. I don't believe it. We're going to play 9, 10 guys, and we're going to play fast. You got to feel good if you're the Pacers. You got to feel good.
I think he makes a lot of sense with that. The Pacers play at a breakneck pace. The Knicks are not as deep. During the regular season, they played at the 26th fastest pace. Indiana was top 7.
Right.
I agree that if the Knicks run with Indiana, while it almost worked in game 1. In fact, you guys should have won. And it doesn't mean you can't win games, but I do think it poses the risk that you're going to be worn out. And I think we disagree on this. I think the Knicks look like a worn-out team at the end of game 1. and I think the pace had a lot to do with it.
Well, they definitely did because they looked lazy in a lot of the things they were doing defensively. But part of that also was just their mindset, right? It's creating the idea in your head that your body can still do it even when your body's telling you it can't. And that they succumbed to that, and it was obvious. And the Pacers took advantage of it. I think the Knicks can play at this pace for 4 games or 5 games. They can't do it the whole series.
And that's Charles's point. I kind of agree because I look at what happened at the end of game 1. We had a caller earlier talking about the Knicks' inability to successfully inbound the basketball without it being an adventure. And he asked, why is that the case? And, openly say, is it coaching? What is it? Is it the fact that this was just a tired team? I mean, OG Anunoby, specifically him, and Jalen Brunson, both look completely winded at the end of this game. And a part of that is continuing to play at this pace against Indiana. And I think it's dangerous over the course of a 7-game series in which there are no long breaks. It is every other day the rest of the way, which is great for us fans. We all love it.
Right.
But I think is a challenge that the Knicks are going to face. And it may not rear its ugly head today. It's only game 2 of the series. But I do think Charles brings up a fair point that as the later this series goes, with the fact that Pacers are a deeper team, this is something that could work to their edge.
So let me play out a scenario, especially coming off the way they lost in game 1. Knicks are up big in the 4th quarter. Does Tibbs call off the dogs? You just blew a big lead, but you want to rest these guys. You assume the series is going long. What does he do?
No, I don't even think it has to do with that.
He didn't do that in Boston until, 5 minutes left in the game?
To me, it has nothing to do with sitting my guys. That's not it. It's trying to change the tone of this series by not having Indiana dictate.
No, I understand that. Play your style. But
I wouldn't be sitting guys. I think you got to put your foot on the gas to win games when the opportunity is in front of you.
Totally agree.
So it has nothing to do with sitting guys. It has to do with, and it's a challenge. It's easier said than done, but how do you find a way to not play Pacer basketball?
You have to grind it out. You got to get him in the half court.
Yeah.
And there's times where it's just like that inbound to Obi when he dunked. I know they should have just fouled there. They need to slow the pace down any way they can, which is tough.
Speaking of the TNT broadcast, I need to play this now. Otherwise, it's going to be just really old. Did anyone?
Ojinobi?
Not that gaff. I got another gaff from the TNT broadcast. That's right up your guys' alley. Did you guys hear that Kevin Harlan screw up?
No.
Kevin Harlan was talking about Tom Thibodeau.
Okay.
He was just talking about Tom Thibodeau. Did you catch it, Sean? You're usually good catching gaffes.
I don't think I caught this gaff.
You'll like this gaff. Ladies and gentlemen, you got it ready, Tommy? You let me know. Kevin Harlan, broadcaster TNT, by the way, does a great job. Kevin, it ain't personal if you're driving into Madison Square Garden right now. I had to replay my DVR a few times to say, did he just say what I thought he said? Here's Kevin Harlan talking about the Knicks head coach, Tom Thibodeau.
Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the Knicks in his 5th year, first conference finals since 2011 when he was the head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
The Chicago Bears. You guys didn't get that.
He said Bulls.
He said Bears.
No, he didn't.
He said Bears.
No,
Play it again.
Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the Knicks in his 5th year, first conference finals since 2011 when he was the head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bears.
Dude, are you all right?
Are you all right?
He says Bulls.
No, he
man.
doesn't.
I hear Bulls.
Can you isolate it so we can hit it over and over again? That's Bears. That's Bears. Bulls. What
Chicago Bulls. Bulls.
What? Say it again.
Bulls.
Dude, he doesn't say Bears.
He said Bears.
Bulls,
Dude,
man.
Evan, this is an all-time L for you. Harlan's a legend in the business, and you think he said Bears he sat on?
Time out.
Intellectually bankrupt.
Tiki and Sean are very passionate.
I hear Bulls. That's the only reason
I don't even hear a subtlety of Bears.
I hear Bears. Tommy, if you say you hear Bulls, I will wear an L for the rest of this segment, which ends in a few minutes.
He says Chicago Bulls.
Oh, come on.
Right.
He says Bears.
To the Chicago Bulls.
He definitely says Bull. You hear the L's
Dude,
at the end.
I am so confused as to how you heard Bears there at all.
To the Chicago Bulls.
I still hear Bears. Like, you guys keep saying it, and I'm like, are you guys pulling a joke
I
on
don't
me?
hear an R at the end of that at all.
No, and I hear ooh.
I hear oohs.
You hear Bulls?
Yes.
Want it one more time here, Ev?
Yeah.
This is your final chance.
To the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, it's definitely definitely Bears.
Evan, this is so egregious. I feel like we're on some kind of weird and practical joker show.
Yeah, as well.
All right, give me the L. I'll just wear it. This is ridiculous.
And Evan does the whole wind-up, by the way. Sean, you're usually good at catching these
I
gaffes.
know, and he's like going through it and setting us up, and I'm like, all right, I'm listening intently for what Kevin's going to say. All right, what's he going to say?
And you didn't
And I'm
hear
like,
it?
did I miss it early? Did I miss it? And then at the end, I hear Bulls. And I'm like, okay.
Tiki,
To the Chicago Bulls.
You know how you know we're right, too, Tiki?
How's
Because
that?
Evan didn't tip us off as to what to listen for, so we
Yes.
heard totally clear.
Right.
So we didn't even, have in the back of our mind, I'm going to hear Bears, I'm going to hear Bears.
If I had tipped off he's going to call the Bulls the Bears, you may have heard Bears.
May have, because I'm, listening for it. I didn't know what I was He hit play the first time, and I looked at Tiki, what is he talking about?
Kevin Harlan, if you are in your car right now and you're pissed off at me that I tried to make you look like a fool, and clearly you didn't, I'm wearing an L right now, so...
You can't grab there. You can't grab there.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm taking my L, even though I don't think I'm wrong. But if all three of you 6 ears are going to tell me he said Bulls...
I hear Bulls.
Okay.
I have a little inside radio here, though, that I'm really questioning. How this works on our show is Evan, if he hears something, finds him, we'll send it to Tommy. Tommy will put it in the system. How did Tommy allow us to go to air with that, just to make you look like an idiot?
I will defend Tommy. He
Great
did not
point.
try to make me look like an idiot. I actually put this in the system by myself.
Oh.
I'm a very hands-on radio host sometimes, and sometimes instead of bothering Tommy by sending him a ton of stuff, I do it myself. And this one I did by myself. But Tommy, if you heard it, what would you have thought?
I wouldn't have known why you sent it to me. And there are times where you send me stuff where I'm not quite sure why we're going to play it, but I trust you. Perhaps I shouldn't, maybe. No, I should check on it. But this one I hadn't heard till we all heard it on the air because you did it yourself.
I still can't believe you guys hear Bulls.
I don't hear Bears at all.
To the Chicago Bulls.
All right, I'm wearing the
Bulls.
guys.
He draws it out a little bit, but it's not like Bulls. He's like Bulls.
That true, but there's no air at all.
No.
All I'll tell you is I'm taking my loss like a grown-up, Sean. Pay attention. This is how it does.
Don't flip this on me.
I still don't agree with you guys, but I will wear the L for the rest of this segment. Let's take a break. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go to Paul in Queens. What's up, Paul?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. Doing well.
So, this is why I get accused of being a Knicks hater, because I'm a Knicks fan hater. I mean, the last few calls of just straight confidence. Like, I talked to BT and Sal yesterday. I said this is going to be the best series of the NBA playoffs because they're so evenly matched, with the bigs, the two-star point guards, all the wings. And I said it's going to be the best series, but I said it's going to come down to, one player being like taking it over and winning it and then being the guy. So right now it looks like it's Tyrese Haliburton so far. But what I think is, honestly, if Jalen Brunson doesn't completely take over or Cat or both of them at the same time, I think the Pacers are going to win.
Well,
the
a
series.
couple things. I agree with you. This is going to be the best series of the postseason. It's
Right.
certainly going to be the best series remaining in the postseason because I think the Thunder are rolling to an NBA title,
Right.
which so far that prediction's off to a decent start.
Yeah, they won pretty easily yesterday.
But what's funny about what you're saying in terms of the best player on the floor is, yes, Jalen Brunson had a huge turnover and turned the ball over 7 times in this game. Yes, Jalen Brunson missed a big free throw, even though he made 86% of his free throws. Yes, Jalen Brunson put up an air ball on a game-tying 3. He scored 43 points on 15 for 25 from the field, and we're acting like it was there. It was mediocre. Yes, there was execution problems at the end of this game.
Right, there were just places where you could criticize him, even though he was exceptional for most of the game.
And Tyrese Haliburton had a tremendous game as well. Absolutely. But they don't come back unless it's Aaron Nesmith making 6 threes in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. So I reject the notion that the best player on the floor is still not Jalen Brunson. I'm not going to concede on that. The best player on the floor is Jalen Brunson.
No, that's true. It just as crazy as it sounds saying what you just said, he also needs to be better. He needs to be better in critical moments, making free throws. He can't have all those turnovers, and he can't get himself in foul trouble, as we talked about a lot.
That's it, man.
Then he just becomes a one-sided player.
Absolutely. And he's a one-sided player anyway.
Right.
But that makes it worse. Now, apparently we have somebody on hold who agrees that he heard Bears. Artie and Malvern, you say you heard Bears as well, correct?
I did immediately as soon as you played it. But then after you played it, I could hear both.
Yes, you could.
So,
now your mind's playing tricks on you.
Yeah, well,
that's what that comes down to.
I appreciate it, Artie, and I appreciate the hundreds of text messages I'm getting from people who are all saying they heard Bulls.
To the Chicago Bulls.
There's one text message I got from a buddy of mine named Chris, who actually is the only person that I will trust in this.
Why?
Because Chris supplied me the SAP written word if you watched it on TV.
The closed captions?
Closed captions. Why did I say SAP?
Yeah.
What's SAP?
Spanish.
Oh. My bad. The closed captions. You know how you could have closed captions? They'll give you the words?
I just listened to a podcast about how closed captions happened. Started at Gallaudet University. There was a protest because they hired a hearing and not even an ASL capable president, and the students protested. And as a result, they had this debate between this incoming president, Len Zinzer, and the student body president. And I'm being honest.
No, it's great.
And then it was on television. They broadcasted it. I think it was NBC. And the students at Gallaudet couldn't watch it.
Wow.
Because it wasn't transcribed. They're all deaf, obviously.
Yeah.
They couldn't watch it. They just looked at the image, but they couldn't find anything. And so it started transcription. And it used to just be people typing, Sterners, just typing.
And now it's AI,
as fast as possible. Then it became voice talking. So the computer could take audio, but it was always distorted. So someone would literally have to sit there and, if I'm watching this baseball game, whatever that broadcaster's saying, I'd have to repeat it into this computer. And so they hired all these voice writers.
Wow.
And then of late, it's all being taken over by AI.
Yeah. Wow. I really
This is why I
hate.
listen to podcasts. I get smarter.
No, you do. And now we're smarter because we all listen to this. And be warned, Sean, this will be on Tiki Trivia in 6 months, so hopefully you paid attention to what he just said.
What was that university I said?
I don't know.
You forgot.
Come on. He just said it.
It's the preeminent deaf university in the world, basically.
Hold on, Tommy, did you hear the school that Tiki said?
No.
Northwestern. Intellectually bankrupt.
I have to be honest. I think I forgot too.
Gallaudet.
Gallaudet.
Yes.
Damn it.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
That's right. I was about to say Harvard, and then I fixed it. I do not like closed captions because I find the words annoying, but my wife loves it because she's like, hey, sometimes if I don't hear what someone said, I like to see the words on the screen.
I'm like your wife. I'm the same way.
A lot of people are. The point is, he has sent me that the closed captions say Bulls. So I take my L. Even though Artie, our last caller, agreed with me.
Wear it proudly, Evan.
But here's the best part. The segment is over, so now I'm going to take this L off.